viewers out there. Today I want to do a video on replacing this faucet from Mohen. I got this from Costco. The problem is from the hot water side. When you turn to the hot water, now it runs, but as the water gets actually hot, it stops running. And I figure this faucet is about 1 year old, and then so maybe some of you are attempting to change your faucet or replacing it. I thought, okay, I will just, you see? Now you see, as the water gets hot, this is what happens. So I guess this video is for those first time who wants to replace the faucet but never tried. I will just record this and show you. I'm not going to bother trying to take it apart, replace the parts, because waiting for the time to replace whatever that's inside to get those parts is going to be probably the same time or much longer than for the parts to come is going to take some time nowadays, So I just went to Costco and bought another one of these faucets. However, the styles that they have updated, it's been changed, but it's the same. So in this video, I'm just going to show how you can change the upper, because I already done this in the past. This faucet is only about a year old, and as you can see, this is what happens when you turn on the hot water. It doesn't really come out, and when the water gets really hot, it stops. So I figure it has something to do with the temperature expanding in the valve and it's shutting it off. So you see, when I turn over to the right, this is running again. As I turn over to the hot water, now that it is hot, and it's not really coming out. So, for some of you who are interested to do some faucet change work, I say go ahead. If I can do it, you can do it. And my video is just to target to let you guys know anyone can do. Don't be afraid. This is the replacement I got from Costco. It's not the exact same style, but I think Costco carry the same brand. I got the old one from Costco as well. This is the faucet, and it looks the same. This is a tool, and you would have to hold on to this one. It helps for the nut that's here. One of these, let's see, it should tell you left to right. So this is the hot side. It tells you hot side. So again, I'm not gonna go and replace the bottom sink part. I'm gonna use these parts. I'm gonna use those parts. So this is the nut that goes underneath your sink. Let me check. Yes. So this is exactly the same part. So I'm not going to bother to replace this one. So this should go pretty fast. So before you start, I show you the tools that you will need to get your hot water or the cold water disconnector off. As you can see, I show you the measurement. It's a 16 millimeter. You can use a open wrench, 16 millimeter. If you are afraid that you might strip it, or if you're afraid that you might over tighten it, then use the precise wrench, would be helpful. I'm going to use a vice grip because I will not try to over torque it. I think sometimes, people might just over torque it and get it on too tight. What I'll do is I'll torque it on with wrist tight. Then if it leaks, I'll tighten it a little bit more. That's what I'll do to keep it simple. So you can use a vice grip or use a 16 mil open wrench or adjustable wrench. So this tool here comes with a kit What I've done is I slipped through something. You can use a screwdriver. You definitely need it because you need this to have the you need a torque to be able to unscrew it and turn it to lock it down. And now, I guess it's kind of dark in here. Clear everything out of under your sink. These guys. Hot water. Close this. Cold water. Close this. Again, you don't have to over tighten them. So before you start, just clear out everything underneath your sink. Close this knob, hot water. Close this knob here, cold water. You don't have to over tighten them. Just make sure that no water comes out when you turn on this. Then you know you have cut off the water. Then you can go back. Then disconnect this. One tip is before you disconnect the hot water and cold water pipe, get this out first. Now, the reason is once you take this off, some water is going to come running back down, right? And some water is going to come running back down, and you would have to catch it, whatever. So if you remove this first, then it's easier for you to clean up after. So now I have it disconnected, and the knot from the bottom off. You just pull it off. Just pull it off. Next thing you do is whatever you got here, no matter what, there's always nasty dirt or junk. Clean it up. So I just poured some peroxide. Peroxide, alcohol, whatever you want to use. Peroxide is cheap. Well, it was cheap before the pandemic. Used to be like 99 cents or less. Now your alcohol and your peroxide costs you an arm and a leg. It's pretty ridiculous. But okay, disinfect, clean it up. Now you're ready to install. Since I have the 3-hole style, I need to use this plate. And using this plate, it comes with this kit. I guess now with this sealer, and then just place the sealer in like that, flip it over, put it over it. Let's see, I'm gonna have to look for a rubber O-ring here. Should be in the box somewhere. There it is. It's in the box. Rubber O-ring. And that's another extra tool that we're not gonna use. But I will show you what this tool does. This one goes into here in case if you ever want to clean the screen. You can keep this tool. So the rubber O-ring. Now you can place it over here. Well, actually, I have one hand. I'm trying to record using one hand. Actually, it's better if you take this rubber O-ring and then slip it in this way first before you place it on top. Okay, sorry for the shaky camera. So I figure I should explain this part. Now that I have the other rubber O-ring in this way. However, once you get your faucet over into this hole, sit on it, you need this from underneath. And what this does is, like, okay, you see this shape. You got to watch out for the shape. You cannot do it this way. You have to do it for this way. These two notch out like my finger. Where my fingers are, that's where the hot and the cold pipe will go, right? It goes like that from underneath. So if you turn it around and do it this way, you're going to have a problem when you tighten it. So that's something you have to be careful for. Once you have your faucet sitting in that hole, this, when it comes up from underneath, it's got to be this way, like that. So your hot and cold can run through it. Try to make the lighting a little better. So I am underneath now. So as you can see, the hot and the cold, and then the washer. This is the screw. Now if you had the washer backward, then you would have to, it would be a pain for you to go back and then you know, like you'll find at some point you can't lock down your faucet because these guys need to slip through, or you know, go through this half moon shaped washer. It's very simple. Now you just tighten this guy, align your faucet up there the way you want, and then tighten this. So I guess when I replaced it the last time, I have kind of kept everything clean, so it's quite simple to work on it again. Otherwise you're going to find yourself a lot of mess down here. Okay, I have it buttoned up. See, quite simple and quick. Now I am just gonna go and wipe up some of this water that kind of dripped. This is bad. Like I said, that came out from the pipe. So what you can do now is to open these guys up, right? And you don't see any water coming out, then you know that it's not leaking. And if any water comes out, you just tighten these knots, fittings again. But don't have to tighten it so tight the first time. This is made of, is it brass, or it's a soft material, so you don't want to strip it. So I think this is done, and you take a look. No fluid is, no liquid or water is coming out from the fittings. Then we're good. One other thing, I don't think it's not a necessary thing that you have to do, but you see, I opened this up, right, and I turn back a little bit. The reason I do it is just so that you don't want this over time to get stuck. Yeah, when you have it open like that all the way, if you don't want it to get stuck or messed up, then that's why I turn back just slightly. And then we come up here. Okay, see, working out. Ooh, I guess there was some dirty stuff in this faucet. Gee, I hope I didn't buy a faucet that somebody previously used. What's with all this nasty stuff that came out of it? So okay, you can see that's done. Probably half an hour of your time. But of course I didn't go and replace this one. This would have taken some more time. When I did that, just remember, if you're going to do this, you need a little bit of putty. Without the putty, these basins, they're not perfect. So if you have a gap, it's gonna leak. So when I did this the last time, I actually had putty around it, just so you know. So now the water is hot and it's not shutting down. Hot water, cold water. So I'm not saying that's your problem, but that was a problem I had. I bought the previous one from Mohen from Costco, about less than a year. Hot water, it stopped. Something had to do with the heat. Cold water was fine. So now I had to just go ahead and replace it. I didn't want to bother with ordering new parts and trying to fix it because it would just take too much time. It's now winter here, very cold. I need the faucet right away. So another thing I would like to review with you, just so you know, nothing fits perfectly. I think there's a bit of an R&D issue. So because they never line up perfectly, right? Unless I go in and glue it somehow, place it up there, then put it down. But as I moved around, this slipped out. I have no choice. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut it out. It's not something I really necessarily need anyway. Once it compressed, for some reason the rubber never stayed in the same position. Same thing with the not the position I'm talking about, the same shape. When it compressed, the shape changed. So I'd say it is not a very good quality rubber, right? It deformed. And it's happened with the same one the other time. I had it up in the slot where it sits for the O-ring, but when you compress, somehow it stretched. And a little bit it came out. Then the more you compress it, the more it came out. So I'm just gonna cut it out. You can try what I did. I taped it up, but somehow it still got squeezed out. If you're gonna go with this brand. So I'd say two things I would like to say is that the last one lasted me less than a year and a half. And when you put it on, I had to take the last one off because no matter how I tried, it didn't fit right. So I thought I tried it again, but now I recalled it didn't fit right. And I don't want to go remove the bowl and redo this whole thing again. I'm just going to cut it off. So it's done. Good you go. Thank you.